We survived on a world gone mad by embracing the madness.
Let's get good. I am the gamer under development, and this is Endless Legends Symbiosis, except this time, guys, it's a little bit different. You want to look down here at this bottom left corner of the screen? This is the Endless Legend community patch. So this is a mod made for the game, which I will link down in the description. What this does is it changes the balance of a lot of things, and from my understanding, it majorly overhauls certain systems like fortification, for example. Here we have a handicap option we can select. I'm not going to give myself a handicap, although I probably need one. We will be facing off against 5 other enemy factions, one of which will be the Mykara, the other of which will be the Kapaku, because we do want to try playing against them. Other than that, most of our settings are pretty standard here. We did go for 4 continents with 6 players. This means that at least 4 factions will end up on a continent with another faction. So that should make for some very good early game aggression and things like that. Let's go ahead and check our world settings here just so you guys can see them real quick if you'd like. All set to very basic things. Feel free to pause the video if you want to check anything out. Gonna go ahead and leave that applied, and then we're gonna come in here and make sure that I did not leave any of these timed things on. We have turned score victory off. Other than that, I think we're fine with all the victory conditions. Yeah, and then here's an interesting thing. We have the ELCP settings here. So here you can see some of the options they have for different settings you can use between classic and ELCP version. Determines under which circumstance a battle contender gains a fortification bonus in battle. Okay, so here might be the fortification thing, so let's look at that. As soon as one of the 2 main contenders is on a city, tile, district, or exploitation, the battle counts as a city battle no matter who attacks. All contenders of the Empire who own the city gain a fortification bonus, but only if they were on a city district when the battle started. This weakens fortification for defender reinforcements outside of the city tiles, but strengthens fortification overall since it can now be used offensively as well. That's really cool. I like that change. Let's see what these other changes are. Diplomatic points from treaties are stored in a buffer. Each turn a specific amount is transferred from the buffer to the player's account. The transferred amount depends on the game's settings and the diplomatic point gain multiplier. Prevents instant diplomatic victory via treaty spam. Current buffer can be seen in the diplomacy screen. That's cool. Stockpile upgrade rules. Stockpile amount is cut in half when upgrading to the next level. The remaining stockpiles are upgraded. Skipping a level, i.e. researching organized labor before unskilled labor, results in the stockpile amount being quartered. Decimals are rounded up in the player's favor. Okay, so that just makes stockpiles a little bit more of a gradual increase because you have to build each tech. That all seems fine. Army speed factor, at which speed armies move on the map. Oh, wow. We could turn army move speed up by a lot, but I'm going to leave that on classic because that was the default setting for ELCP. I am going to change our speed factor for combat to fastest, and we did switch from advanced mode to normal mode here, because one of the things we're doing with this playthrough is exploring manual combat turn by turn. This is the Forgotten. This is the faction that the most people ask for. It's also my favorite faction, so I'm going to give you a little bit about who they are, and then we'll jump right into the game. Masters of deception, infiltration, and sabotage, the arrival of the Forgotten among the factions of Auriga will change everything. From pillaging extractors to assassinating governors, the rules of conflict will never be the same again. So we have a settler unit. We actually do have settlers, unlike with the Mykara, where I told you guys we had settlers and then we didn't. We have the Assassin. Though they are frontline fighters, the Assassin excels in feints, stuns, and quick knife work. It is said that they can get you in the dark and from behind, even under the desert's noonday sun. Ooh, spooky. Predatores. Deadly from a distance with their crossbows, the Predatores strike terror in any enemy in their line of sight using poison, and with exceptional aim, a Predatore's target is generally dead before it knows it's in the crosshairs. I love that description. And then we have our Mists. Where spying and stealth are important, you will find the Mists. Able to change from mist to solid form and back, they are hard to hit and easy to be hit by. All of those units have some great abilities that I'll be glad to explain to you as we get into them in the game. For now, we're going to look at our other traits. We have Science Phobic. This is very important. Mistrustful of scientists and their mad passions, this faction cannot exploit science, but instead purchases technologies with dust. Cannot see, gather, or use science. No research, no science gained from trade routes. Technologies can be bought out with dust. Very important for us. That means our whole early game is a lot different from some of the other factions in the game, but you guys will see that as we dive in. Dust Opportunist, taking advantage of Dust's magical propensity to literally drift out of Imperial coffers during eclipses, infiltrated Forgotten spies can potentially steal small fortunes during the long twilight night. During eclipses, infiltrated Forgotten spies gain the Dust Opportunist infiltration action, allowing to steal dust from other empires. Very cool, guys. I haven't actually gotten to test that out because the last time I played the Forgotten was before dust eclipses were in, so I'm very excited to see that. Knowledge Seekers, trained in the art of study and observation, a key value of Forgotten spies is stealing technology and scientific secrets from their enemies. Disdainful of the scientific process, they appreciate its results. Can perform the infiltration action technology copy instead of decrease science production. That allows us to steal technologies from other people. We'll mainly use that in the mid game because in the early game, our ability to buy technologies with dust means that around around turn 10, we should surge straight into Era 2 tech. Okay, Caudata Sanctuary, transported in from the distant Targadian mountains, winter-sensitive species like the Boreal Caudata have the uncanny ability to anticipate the turning of the seasons, thus greatly improving forecasts. This is an Empire improvement that I believe we have to either unlock or build, and the effect is that it gives us minus 80% margin of error for season predictability on Empire, minus 100% infiltration cost on Empires during winter, that's very useful, and minus 30% infiltration action costs on Hero. Wait, is that just all the time? Wow, that's actually stronger than I thought. I thought that was only during winter, but that's way stronger. Okay, learn from others. Great heroes are not born with heroism, but learn it through the example of others. By sending the unseasoned on ranging expeditions with the most exalted, all of Forgotten Society can learn. Plus 3 XP per turn on hero, plus 3 XP per turn per infiltrated hero on hero. Oh, that's cool. So basically our heroes gain 3 extra XP every turn no matter what, and our infiltrated heroes also gain 3 XP. That's awesome. So there we have our units, the Assassin, the Predatory. We do start with Search Party, which reduces the odds to loot nothing after a search on ruins, and it increases by 5% the odds to get a loot or an event, which is useful. And in areas where resources or artifacts may lie hidden, troops can be ordered to hunt and dig for loot. And then we have our Forgotten main quest. Frustrated by the insularity and perhaps cowardice of your people, you and 2 allies decided to leave and forge your own destiny, but your journey barely started before disaster struck, and your mission has turned to one of bloody revenge. Excellent. Expert Forager. Even the simplest habitats have valuable scraps, stone, cloth, metal objects, holy symbols in the hand of the Forgotten, accustomed to surviving in the harshest conditions. These things can be transformed into objects that fetch a good price. Gains loot when destroying a neutral village. Practice pillage. From the youngest age, Forgotten children learn to survive on hardship and extract every scrap from their environment. It is no surprise that as grown-ups, they are exceptionally effective at pillaging. Plus 2 fortification damage per turn on units, and minus 1 dust on military upkeep. That's actually really useful. Dust Sense is by studying the subtleties of dust as part of their training at the Wayfarer's Divinity, Forgotten soldiers are able to root out more of the precious stuff when pillaging. Plus 100% dust from pillage on Empire, that is amazing. What's mine is mine. This is incredible, guys. Those who are strong in the ways of espionage must also be ready when their enemies use those skills against them. Additional training in counter-espionage is never wasted time. So this gives you plus 15 security on all your cities, but more importantly, it gives you plus 3 seniority on infiltrated heroes, and seniority is something that makes all of your spying actions much easier to hit, basically. So we definitely want a lot of that. And then of course we start with the Pillage Tech, which was introduced with the Forgotten. Sometimes using the enemy's infrastructure against them is better than destroying it. Well-trained units are expert at siphoning dust, resources, and other useful items from enemy sites. Unlocks the army action Pillage, unlocks the camouflage accessory on units, and unlocks the detection accessory on heroes. We won't actually, well, I mean, we could end up needing detection, but we start stealth, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Okay, so now that we've gone through all the traits, sorry, I just wanted to take a second because I realized the last playthrough I didn't actually do that, and now we'll jump right in. I am very, very excited, guys. The Forgotten are probably my favorite Endless Legend faction. I think I actually said that in the recent Q&A. I absolutely love their lore, I love their style, and honestly, I love their gameplay because they're super dust focused, and there are so many cool things I have planned for what we can do with them. I will tell you this, we're going to struggle in the mid-game. The Forgotten tend to struggle in the mid-game because in the mid-game, a lot of other factions are using dust to buy out improvements, they're using dust to buy out troops, they're using dust to upgrade troops, or they're just generally using dust for a variety of things. We need to do all those things as well, but we also need the dust to research. So by mid-game, if we haven't found an enemy that we can basically steal techs off of, then we're kind of going to be in a bit of a crunch for dust. And that is why they kind of struggle in the mid-game. The good news is, by the late game, they kind of level back out again, and they get real strong. Ooh.
Ages ago, we were banished by our kin. In fear and shame, they turned their backs on us, closing the door. We survived on a world gone mad by embracing the madness. Thus, shadow and silence became our allies, and they made us strong. Now the time for payment of ancient debts has come. The price will be high, and we will be paid in full.
I love it! To survive in a world gone mad, we embrace the madness. Sounds like my life. Okay, so we're in Forgotten. Masters of... Well, hold on. The Forgotten don't gather and use science, yet they can buy out technologies using dust. They can also rely on their unit invisibility and hero skills to better pillage and infiltrate other empires. Masters of deception, infiltration, and sabotage. The arrival of the Forgotten among the factions of Auriga will change everything, from pillaging extractors to assassinating governors. The rules of conflict will never be the same again. Oh no, they won't. We are the guerrilla warfare. That's literally what we are, guys. If you don't know what guerrilla warfare is, we are the embodiment of guerrilla warfare. Oh, this is such a bad region for us already. Like, okay, so here's the problem. You guys notice one particular resource that's missing here? I don't see a lot of dust. I don't see a lot of dust. I don't see a lot of rivers. I mean, we've got a couple water tiles right here that we could potentially get some extra dust from, but this is not a great start for us. And our production and stuff isn't very well centered either. I think just looking what we have now, that's our best start if we didn't explore at all. And we are going to explore. I just want to be careful because in the past I have made the mistake of splitting up the Forgotten army, and it really isn't an ideal situation. What I will do though is I will split out the settler right here just because I want her to move a square and see what she can see. So now I think I will split these guys up. We'll just have to pull them back together very, very quickly. And the main reason I'm doing that is because I need to see more of our region. This region does not look very appetizing to us right now. Oof, yeah, this region is not grand. I gotta wonder if there's like a better potential settlement down here to be had or something. This is crazy. And like, it's not even like we got a bad region with like a good happiness anomaly or something. We just got a bad region. I think the best thing for us to do is settle right here. 19 food and 9 production. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's also not terrible. I'm not even sure where we'd build out to, though. That would give us more dust. How much dust do we have here? We have 5 dust there, so I guess that's not dreadful. Let's have these guys move over here. How much more movement do you have? You have 2 movement. Okay, so go there. Hey, we got the Kazanjis. Okay, I feel better already. Our region is awesome, guys. Absolutely awesome. This unit we're going to immediately send back to merge in here because we're going to need him if we're going to fight the Kazanjis. The Kazanjis are very strong. In fact, we may need another backup unit to help us. And I'm going to go ahead and found here because the Forgotten are a faction. Did you see how we had minus 20 dust there? The Forgotten are a faction that pretty much can't wait till turn 2. If we wait till turn 2, we will lose so much dust that we'll basically tempo ourselves out, and that's not a good place to be at. So we're going to start with our Founders Memorial. Now, once again, we know that we don't research stuff, so we don't actually have to go and set our research, but that is the thing we're going to get first. Now, you'll see right here, we can come up here and pay 14 dust to buy this out immediately, which we're not going to do. And the reason we're not going to do that is because until we need something to put in queue here, we actually don't need to spend that dust. There is one thing we'll consider spending that dust on, mainly because our minor faction is the Kazanji, and that's language square here so that we can parlay. If it wasn't the Kazanji, I would just attack them and rebuild it. That's what I would do. But the Kazanji hit really, really hard. So if we decide to go at them hard, then what we're going to need to do is make sure that our hero is adequately equipped, which more than likely she is not. Yeah, see, 47 dust to give her that, which isn't necessarily what we need on her anyway. But I guess if we just swap her weapon over to the claws, which give her sweep strike back and a little bit better stats overall, that wouldn't be terrible. And she does give an initiative boost to her army, so maybe we can do this. What we're going to do is we're going to try to recombine these armies right here, and it'll give them a chance to search that ruin and get some more experience on our hero as well. Okay, so everything is in queue. We should pretty much be done. One thing that is very, 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 I cannot stress this enough, very important as the Forgotten, is on the first Empire plan, you have to at least get 20. If you do not get 20 influence and you do not get these two things, you will set yourself so far back that you may not actually be able to recover. On the other hand, what we want to do is get 30 here so that we can produce units cheaper as well. The vision is less important early on. So what we're going to do is basically start on that and end our turn. Not a whole lot to do on turn 1. That's pretty standard though. We will want to explore our entire region soon, but it's going to be kind of difficult with the units that we currently have. And we have our faction quest now. You plan to rebuild a new forgotten civilization has started badly. Of your two most powerful allies, Arla never made the journey, and Ziema has been kidnapped by unknown forces. Locate her. My dreams are still haunted by the night we lost my friend, my rock, the previous leader of the Wayfarer's divinity, Master Shadow Ziema Adaya. They came upon us not 3 days out from the Targadian Mountains, shadowy figures in the night. At first we thought them simple bandits preying on hapless travelers, desperate rogues who'd made a fatal mistake in selecting their victims. We imagined we would kill them easily enough, but we were wrong. Had Arla not been left behind, sick with fever, we may have mastered them, but in our arrogance we underestimated them. Ziema battled formidably, saving many of our lives, but that only aided our attackers' true intentions. They wanted not to rob us or kill us, but to steal away Ziema herself, and they succeeded, and it wasn't only her they took, some of my most experienced warriors also vanished that night. In the aftermath, stranded in the Oregon wilds, bloodied and exposed, there was little we could do except carry on with our original plan. Without Ziema or the others, every day, the same question burned in my mind. Who kidnapped Ziema? Did one of our party betray our intentions to the spineless trinity who rule the Forgotten in Dagari Tanga? The fearful High Consecrate and the feeble masters of the divinities. Those rulers who have forgotten our motto, we are the power in the shadows. Or was she taken by some other enemy who escapes my attention? The questions burn. The one that burns the most, though, is, where is she now? Okay, so that's cool. A sister of Mercy village in the nearby region of Sipaun knows something of Ziema's kidnap. Pacify the village to learn more. Okay, Sisters of Mercy are pretty easy to kill, and we get 80 dust for doing that as well. Now, we don't necessarily need Language Square with the Forgotten. It's something you can skip if you would rather just try to militarily conquer minor factions. They do get bonuses for capturing minor faction cities through military means. The problem with that, though, is that some enemies like the Kazanji will end up wiping out enough units that it's just not worth it anymore. Okay, so we got a new quest, Master of Luxury. Trust the knowledge gleaned from the ruins you discovered. Exploit some luxuries. Auriga is rich with resources, both natural and magical. Hieroglyphs on ancient ruins indicate how certain luxuries can provide powerful bonuses to your empire, above and beyond the wealth you can get from trading and exploiting them. Build 2 extractors, exploiting one or more of the following: luxuries, dye, emerald, gold, spice, or wine. And if we do that, we get augmented extractors, which is actually super good. So that's fine. That's a great quest for us to pick up, actually. I am super, super happy with that. We don't yet see any luxury resources on our map, unfortunately, but maybe we'll find some up in this area or down here. Even if we don't, we could potentially find some in neighboring regions. Oh, we have a Silix region right next to us, too. So the minor factions around us are heavy hitters, guys. They are no joke. which is actually kind of good because if we can assimilate them, that's something that's to our benefit. The Silics, I believe, actually provide additional strategic resources, which is incredibly useful. All right, we're gonna take everybody up there. Part of me wants to tempt fate and go at the Kazanji, but I don't think it's going to end in our favor. Okay, now that that is done, I actually should have done this last turn because we may have wasted some production there. I'm going to go ahead and get Mill Foundry here, and we'll put that in queue. So now the Mill Foundry should be out relatively soon. We do have a burrow available already. Now we want to keep in mind which direction we're trying to expand. Some people like to build triangles. I know that in some cases, or with some factions, that's actually much more effective, I think. However, I tend to build in rows just because it's easier for me to envision like what parts of the region I want to capture first that way. So like if we were to build across this row right here, we could go across this way. We could go across this way. I think we're gonna go across this way because that'll get us to these lakes, right? Or these rivers right here, and rivers actually produce a lot of extra dust. Go there, get food and dust. Go here, get production food and dust. We're gonna go right here and get production food and dust. We probably won't actually end up building that burrow street there. It just looks like it, and I may actually move a population here to get another pop in one turn. Also, after our Mill Foundry, we're gonna put a settler in queue, but before that, we need to go in and make sure that our settler has the movement increasing accessory. There we go. Excellent. So we'll put our settler in queue. They'll be right there. We probably might not finish them before our first Empire plan, but we're hoping to. So the Mill Foundry is now in queue, and the Founders Memorial is fine. I'm still curious whether it's worth it to get that one extra population now or just push out the Mill Foundry. I think it'll be okay, because I think what we'll see happening is maybe we'll get enough from that extra pop to be able to push the Mill Foundry over next turn anyway, which would be ideal. That would be the best outcome for us. So right here is where it's going to get real tense, because we can either go after the Kazanji all out, which I don't honestly think we're going to win, or we can try to pacify them. So I think we'll go ahead and get the Parlay Tech here, but we can actually do that next turn. We don't need that right now. I may have cost us one turn on the Mill Foundry by not buying it the turn before and getting it in queue though. I can't believe I messed that up because like I've been doing some practice runs because I haven't played the Forgotten in a while, trying to get myself back in the groove, so to speak. Hey, it worked out though. Look at that. We're gonna get the Mill Foundry in one turn now. That was perfect. Okay, you guys are gonna move up here, and yeah, we're gonna get Language Square because we're not gonna be able to fight the Kazanji with just these units. They will wreck us. They will wreck us in a very ugly way. Parlay, bring back 8 glass steel to the Kazanji. Let's hope that we have glass steel in our region. We have not found any strategic resources just yet, which is actually kind of disappointing. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to rush these guys over here to try to explore some of these ruins. This will also give us eyes on these neighboring regions and see what we can find. In the meantime, though, I want to make a scout unit, and this unit is basically just going to be a bare-bones assassin unit with nothing on him except for that. Like, we really don't need anything but the speed increaser. I am going to switch them over to claws because early on, before about tier 3, or basically before you start using strategic or dust gear, the claws are actually the best raw damage output. Later on, it's better to switch these guys to a main hand axe and an offhand sword because then you'll get infantry slayer and range slayer. As you can see, when I pull these off and replace them with the claw, all we get is sweep strike back. But that's fine. We're not going to put any armor on this guy. The goal is to keep him as cheap as possible because all he is for is finding new regions for us to take and things like that. So we're going to put him in queue, probably behind the settler. I honestly think we should be building food and things like that sooner than this, but we will see. I mean, maybe we should actually... Okay, so here's something to keep in mind. If you actually have lake or river tiles or ocean tiles in your starting area, you want to take aquapulvistics first. Since we don't have any of those things, aquapulvistics will actually produce less dust than the Empire Mint. So we're going to get the Empire Mint here as well. And I'm not sure if we're going to put that... Well, it has to come after our settler. The settler has to go first. So let's do this. Let's get the Empire Mint. We'll put it behind our settler. And then we'll wait for our scout after that. Okay. That should be all good. You guys are moving towards the ruins to explore. If we can get some dust out of these ruins or some glass steel to finish our pacification quest, that would be incredible. That would be everything we ever wanted in life. Okay, what do we got here? Searching 30 dust. I will take it. That's great. How about over here? Come on, give me some good things. So this region is actually already looking pretty promising. Dye is not a bad thing for us to have. Empire plans are always great for every faction. 30 more dust, that is just beautiful, guys. Just beautiful right there. Okay, with that additional dust, maybe we can put the scout up here. No, I think I'm gonna finish the Empire Mint first anyway. We do wanna come check this. We have 5 turns until our Empire plan. We currently have 6 influence. We're generating 2 per turn. 2 per turn for another 2 turns is 4, which will put us at 10, which means we'd need to make 20 in 3 turns. Let's see if we can do that right now. Can we make 20 in 3 turns? Yes, we can. In fact, we may be able to, that would only be 18. We can make 20 in 2 turns, essentially. Well, 2 turns with 3 population there, and 1 turn with only 2. So basically what I'm doing is just making sure that we get our 30 for our first Empire plan. Our hero has leveled up here. We're gonna go with Managed Torpor. Now here's something important to note about the Forgotten. This ability, a Boreal Dust Dowser, that's not very great. It's okay, it's not great. They actually don't make very good governors in general. What they do make is great spies and great generals. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and grab Managed Torpor right here so that we can move her back and forth between our armies and our cities more frequently. That way she can help our armies kill stuff when we need her to, but otherwise she can go sit at our city and contribute Dust Boost 2 right here, which will give us +4 dust per her level and +1% dust per her level on city. So basically now she is a double duty character. We are gonna use her for a little bit of everything. Right now, though, we're going to pull her over here, because it's actually more beneficial to have her generating dust. If these guys end up in a situation where we know they're going to be fighting an enemy and they need backup, we can always move her back over. Let's see what her current number of turns for cooldown is. It's 3. So if we take her ability again, it'll leave her with a 1-turn cooldown before she can be moved. Now, I'm not sure we're going to do that because that's kind of a wasted point, but later on we'll probably end up getting that, and depending on how the game goes and how quickly we find an enemy for her to spy on, we may actually pick that up sooner than later. Okay, so now we have discovered the Silix village. We can go over and grab their quest. This is a region I would absolutely love to expand into just because we found the Silix so far. If we can find reasonable dust income and other things that we're looking for, it would be great. Another thing we want to look out for is good lava regions. Lava regions are actually really, really strong for the Forgotten in my experience. You do have to make sure you get food improvements built immediately. In fact, one of the things that I like to do is actually save the husbandry center in case we find a lava region, because putting down the husbandry center will basically counter the fact that it doesn't have food very quickly, and then you can spin the region out of control into this massive production region, and that's just useful. Not to mention that lava regions hexes still produce dust, so that's very good as well. Okay, so now we are at 3 turns before our Empire plan is due. We currently have 10 influence, which means it is time to begin switching people out to something else. The question is, will we actually have our settler before then? We will, which is excellent, because what we want to do is get our settler out. We don't want to settle the city. Settling the city will actually raise the price. Return to this village with an army that contains 3 minor faction units. Okay, so that's not very likely to happen. I'm considering bringing our hero in here and just going for the kill on these guys, because we definitely don't want to have to bribe them, and I think this is a region that we want to settle. Let's go ahead and go over here and search this ruin for starters. We can always try to just rush a settler in here and settle this. Look at that, +10 happiness. This is a decent setup right here. That would be 6 production, a lot of food, and a lot of dust. And some happiness. Happiness is very important. So we could start our second region right here without too much problem. There is actually some lakes, or not lakes, but rather rivers right here that we can get dust out of. Okay. Whoops. I didn't actually read the quest text. Sorry guys, sometimes I forget to read the quest text for the minor quests. Minor faction, major trust. Sure, you have cities and armies and power and wealth and lots of fancy equipment, but this village is full of cynics. They will only believe that you're a worthy leader if you show them that other minor factions have been content to join your ranks. If you are able to show your army integrates other people into its ranks, they will be reassured that you have the competence to lead beings of their village as well. Cool. So you guys want to be the second group that we assimilate, even though, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Okay, we're going to have them go there. That's what we planned on. That's what we're doing. Ending our turn here. We have got to find the region the Sisters of Mercy are in. I'm reasonably sure it could be that one. Is that Ziema? No, that's Sipuan. Okay, yeah, so that is the region. That's the region the Sisters of Mercy are in. So our quest is right here. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe work our way over, try to find that Sister of Mercy's village there. Delusion of Grandeur, new quest added. Progress is not merely in science, but in putting science to practical work, to leave a great legacy for history, assuming that there will be a future. You need to bring your people into a modern era by improving their level of industry. Produce 40 industry in one of your cities for 10 turns to get 15 influence. No problem, that's something we were wanting to do anyway. So we're going to bring them down here because we know that the Sisters of Mercy are supposed to be in this region, and we've literally seen every hex but that, so that's where they're at. And the Sisters of Mercy we can absolutely wreck. Like, we don't need to be afraid of them at all. Okay, that's a good plan. Unfortunately though, guys, we are out of time, so what I'm going to do here is go ahead and end this turn and then call the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of our new series. I know it was a little slow in the beginning when I was explaining the faction stuff, but I wanted to make sure to explain that because a lot of the people that watch the channel are new players trying to get a grip on how to play each of these unique and difficult factions. A glimpse of a new era just happened, so we will have access to some great things like the Industrial Megapole in the future episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and click that like button. If you want to know when the next episode goes up or the next episode of our Endless Space 2 custom faction series, that is another great series that is designed with a custom faction for new players to be able to get a hang of the game. Anyways, if you want to know when any of that stuff goes up, go ahead and click that subscribe button and make sure to ding that notification bell. Otherwise, YouTube will just forget that you even wanted to know. That is how insensitive YouTube is to your desires. That's not very nice. I respect you. I respect your desires. I know you want to see the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!